Okay, guys, I am waiting to see who joins me today. We are live for the training, and if you have any questions or you are in the REIA meetup and you want to ask me some questions, you can text them to me and I'll be able to see them. Again, we are live, and I'm hoping that this information tonight is helpful to you. Our goal is always to help you to do your business better. Feel free to say hi to me, guys. I'm looking forward to speaking, sharing, and holding, helping you to answer some questions. So we're on more than one platform. I'm going to, guys, there we go. I am waiting to see who joins me to speak. There we go. I just wanted to make sure. Hi there, Michael. And we're on about 6 different platforms, including YouTube. So I will take questions from the people in the REIA meetup. When you upload it in the REIA meetup, I will see them and I'll be able to answer them. My name is Wendy Lovejoy for those that are seeing this for the first time. If you are reading my books and things of that sort, you will see that my pen name is Wendy Williams Lovejoy. But when you join the trainings or you join my social media platforms, you will see that it is Wendy Lovejoy. And so my goal is to help you tonight with scripts. It seems like a lot of the people that I help are people like myself. When I got started, one of the things that I found very, very stopping me from going to the next level was when I had not mastered my scripts. Okay, I put out a lot of money marketing and people started calling me and I really didn't know what to say or do. So I started first as an investor and then I became a real estate agent and later on a broker. And the great thing was, while I was an agent, I had my broker, Chuck McGill, who had the first ERA in the Queens, New York area, and he happened to invest in 5 of them, 2 in Queens and other locations of the New York area. I happened to work in his Jamaica, Queens office, which was really in Queens Village. And I interviewed a few brokers before I chose him to mentor and coach me because he had helped a lot of people. And when I spoke to his wife, I realized that he had accomplished a lot of things and that he could help me. So one of the things that I got from Chuck was that start with marketing. And so you picked a marketing area, a minimum of 500 names. If you're in real estate as an agent, we call it prospecting. But if you're an investor, you call it just marketing and working a list. And so what I would do is he gave us different companies that we could invest in that would put our print work out. Now, what's happening is it's so much easier to market now. It really is. There's so many apps where you can get names and addresses, phone numbers, emails of motivated sellers. And you don't know if they're really motivated until you qualify them. But once you get a deal, you're looking for other investors to buy those deals. And I encourage new agents to work with real estate investors because most real estate investors are going to close in less than 30 days. Most real estate investors might even close in less than a week if you ask them a few questions and they can say yes to it. And so if you're really looking to close deals quickly and you are a real estate agent, I say get familiar with working with real estate investors because they normally close a lot faster. And it takes the same energy to build your cash buyers list, your investor list, as it does building your traditional buyers. And so whether you're a licensed agent or an investor, especially if you're a wholesaler, you want to build your buyers list. That's very, very helpful. And some people start by building the list before they find a deal. I like to say that you want to start with knowing the area you want to market in. It doesn't matter if you find investors that want to invest towns over, if you're really not interested in marketing in that area, you're not making yourself well known in that area, you're not going to get the kind of deals that you think you're going to get. I believe it's really important to market in an area that you want to be visible in. Very, very important. Market in an area you want to be visible in. You can also do a lot of online marketing. And if you're not marketing online, I think you're kind of not, you're missing the direction of what real estate is going in. And I kind of back end the people that I coach and mentor. I teach them how to make themselves the brand, no matter what franchise they work with. I tell them you are the brand, and no matter what their LLC name is, my focus is you are the brand. So you have to see yourself as a leader. Whether you just started in real estate or not, you want to become a leader. There's a lot of people I see now on Clubhouse, and some of them are people that I've coached and mentored and told them the very same thing when they got started, that until you see yourself as a leader, a boss, that you have started your own home-based business or you work for an office, whether you work for a major franchise or for yourself, whether you have your LLC or not, you've got to realize you are a brand. And so you want to make sure that even on your social media, you are marketing to tell people you're in real estate. And you want to put some things out about the community that you're looking to target. So you want to find out the top things about that community and you want to share them. I think one of the greatest things is that I like to start with mindset when I do my trainings. And tonight the mindset is see yourself as a leader. See yourself as a top producer. See yourself creating the kind of business you want. Some people look at my business and they think I should do more with technology. I hire people to handle the technology, and I like to focus on talking to people, getting to know people, and marketing my brand. That's what I like to do. So you have to build your business in the way you like it. And if I were to work with you, if you're in any one of my social media groups, I'm willing to have conversations with you and help you create a game plan you're going to use. And the first thing I say to you is, what is the market that you want to become a top producer in? There's a low price point market, there's a middle income market, and then there's the high end. So depending on where you want to be seen as strong, you have to make sure that you're branding yourself accordingly. Whatever that market you want to be in, you want to brand yourself accordingly. You cannot, brand yourself for the high end and then you're not really marketing to that category. And so again, you want to first, the game plan is, what do you want to accomplish in your real estate business? How do you want to be seen in your real estate business? And how much time, how much money do you want to invest in your business? That's going to say a lot. If you don't have a lot of money, you're going to have to put in a lot of sweat equity. And if you have a lot of time, then you won't have to put in as much money. But if you have a lot of money, you can create some shortcuts for yourself, or you can partner up with people. You want to start first by looking at who you want to be in the real estate industry. And you can look at different people's businesses. Are you looking to build your business so you spend a lot of time with your family, which is what I like? I can make it to everything my grandchildren do now. When I first started in real estate, I wanted to make it to everything each one of my 3 children do. And then I had a bonus daughter, Shauna. And so I wanted to make it to some things with her. I was there when all the kids went to college. I was able to be there and set them off. Now I do the same thing. I'm there for my grandchildren. So you have to look at what do you want to create in your business? You want to first start is, what is success for you? And I'm asking you these questions. You might want to take some time to answer them, because it's really not going to be fulfilling to you to just build a business and you're not accomplishing all the things you wanted. So I say first, determine what it is that looks like success to you. Is success to you having a lot of money coming in, or working really hard? Again, the industry's changing. I've been in the industry 30 years. I've seen what's happened when there's been pandemics. I was in the industry when we had a pandemic of HIV. We had pandemic of other things that people didn't understand what was causing it. And so a lot of people, when we had the HIV or the AIDS epidemic, when people first started learning about AIDS, when that happened, people were selling their homes like crazy because they didn't understand a lot of things. It's very similar to what this pandemic is creating. People were becoming reclusive. People were thinking that the market is going to change so dramatically when this is all over. The only thing that's going to happen is the people that are preparing themselves by mastering a lot of things, including their own mindset. Those are the people that are going to have more success. So I've been in the industry when the interest rates were very low, when the interest rates were very high, when there were a lot of foreclosures, when you couldn't find property. So I've ridden the waves, and I can share some things with you. But I know that it starts with mindset. You really, really have to think about your mind and focused on where you want to end up. Very, very important. So you got to look at your business. One of my mentors, Mike Ferry, asked us, what does it cost to be you? So you want to look at your monthly expenses, and you want to look at the current income you have. If you have a job, if you have any kind of money's coming in, and then you want to look at what is missing, what is the shortfall. I have a lot of people lately that have been signing up for my coaching programs that are either retired military or they're driving Uber. So I then show them how to look at what they're earning and look at how to fill the gap in between. No matter what, you need to start a marketing company. A marketing system. So once you figure out your brand, do you like to dress casual? Do you like to dress high end? Do you want to market to, the high end or the low end? Most people say, I want to get into wholesaling. I need $2,000. I want to make $2,000. But I encourage you to think about your business brand, and then think about the long term. How long do you want to be in this industry? Again, I've been in the industry 30 years. So I knew going in, I wanted this to change my life, my mother's life, my children's life, my ex-husband's life, the school in the neighborhood that I invested in, the church that I invested in, and so many other things. And 30 years later, I'm still in the game. So you want to determine, what do you want to see in the next 30 days, the next 90 days, the next year, the next 10 years, 20 years, however long you want to be in this industry. The other great thing is, when you create your real estate business, this is a business you can leave as a legacy to your children. You can't do that with your job. But if you build this business correctly, your children will take over and take it to avenues you haven't even thought of. And I speak that to you as somebody that's done that. My children are involved in real estate. They grew up in the industry. They've seen what the industry has done for them. And so now they're navigating what parts of the industry they want to master. And here's what I found. All of us had to master scripts. All of us had to master a marketing campaign. So once I teach you about your brand, the next thing I say is, what zip codes do you want to focus on? Start with a very, very small area, and it will burst out into other categories. Hey there, buddy. I see you, Saul. So, start with this very small, tight. One of my other mentors, business mentors, Fabian Fredrickson, would say, start with a marketing campaign that's as big as this bottle cap, and she uses a walnut, and she says be very focused on it, and then it'll spill over into other areas. For me, yes, we're going to be talking scripts in a minute. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that, Justin. So, you know, when you start out, you want to brand yourself. You want to look at who you want to help, and you'll grow into the person that can help that industry. And you don't have to start with the lowest price point. A lot of people start with vacant homes in the worst neighborhoods. You don't have to start there. You can start middle price point, high price point, but you have to brand and market yourself accordingly, because that's going to determine who the mentor is you need. That's going to determine who the people that you need to spend in time with, the meetups you need to join, and those type of things. Then you constantly have to work on your mindset. That's the most thing that knocks people out of the game, is they come into real estate and they don't work on their mind. The biggest investment you can make is self-improvement. That's one, because the scripts I can teach you. I can teach you how to wholesale. I can teach you how to fix and flip, how to buy and hold. I can teach you how to analyze a property. But if your mind is off, you're not going to be able to get to the highest levels of this industry. The great thing about becoming a real estate investor is you don't need to have a license, but it's also one of the worst things about becoming a real estate investor, because most people think, I can go and just watch every YouTube video, or I can talk to everybody. And most people end up talking to people that haven't accomplished much. And then that person pulls them into the next shiny object that hasn't worked for them yet. And then they don't continue the work. So you want to set game plans for yourself. What should you know in the next 30 days that you don't know now? And again, what is your marketing budget? Start with marketing. Very, very important. So many apps will give you a mailing list. Some other apps will give you a mailing list with just the homeowner's mailing address. Some others will give you and the information with the mailing list and also the phone number or the emails. If you're going to call people, then you definitely want to master your scripts. If you're going to start a marketing campaign, you want to make sure you master your scripts, because, people are going to start calling you back. And so when they call you back, what are you going to say? You never want people to feel that you're brand spanking new. So I say, keep scripts. We give a lot of scripts in the REIA Meetup. And I have a few programs that talk about scripts, but tonight I want to share two very basic scripts. One is just talking to any and everybody. First, you want to look at your center of influence. When you get started, look at the people around you. Are they positive? If they're not, don't spend time telling them you're in real estate. And then you tell them, I got started today, and then let's say it's June 1st, and you say you got started, but you really just made your mind up to be a real estate investor or a real estate agent, and you really didn't do the work until 30 days later. Now they're looking at it like, wow, you have been in real estate this long. And so be very careful of who you're telling what you're doing. Use your time to master your marketing campaign, to build your brand, and to master scripts. The best way to master scripts is to take a script and repeat it verbatim, word for word, every single day, all day long, until it comes out of you. One of my favorite actors is Denzel Washington, and he tells you, he studies his scripts, he studies them, and then he adds his personality after. So when you study your script, you're studying it word for word, word for word. And the simplest script that you could say is, hi, my name is Wendy. I help people that have real estate problems. I help them find solutions. and I'm actually looking for people in this area to help. Or, this area is showing that there's a lot of vacancies, or I'm seeing that there's a lot of foreclosures in the area. There's a lot of pre-foreclosures. There's people that are looking for short sales. Do you know anybody that you can refer me to? I love talking to total strangers. You can go to Walmart and meet people. You can be anywhere. And so the other thing you want to do is you want to master being able to respond to people on the phone when they call you. When somebody calls you back from any marketing you've done, whether it's on social media or it's something from your direct mail, you want to see yourself as the expert, and you want to keep them on track. And you want to ask them certain things. One of the best things to do is you have a CRM, put the information in there and then fill it out so it can tell you, or you can put there when you're going to follow up. If you don't have a CRM, then you can do this on your own calendar. You can write certain information. You can start a book. I like to teach people the very basic because it's easy. When you get started in real estate, the things to master is not all the technology. It is to master yourself and discipline yourself to do the work. And the more people you speak to, the more deals you will end up closing. So I know some people say, no, everything's CRM. Well, that's fine too, but I want you to be comfortable talking to people about real estate. That's what's going to really help you. So if you do a marketing campaign and somebody were to call you back, and let's say they call you back and say, hey, I just got your letter in the mail, and you said you were interested in buying my house, I would say yes. And my name is Wendy. Who am I speaking with? And can you confirm your address? Because I've written to a few people in your neighborhood. Let's just confirm who you are. CRM is a customer retention. It's like don't even get caught up in that, Justin. We'll talk about that later if we need to. But I want you to master the basics. Not everybody has a CRM. So you can use a sheet of paper to follow up with people. The main thing is to be able to hold the conversation. So when they call you back from your marketing, then you want to confirm who they are. One of the greatest things I want to teach you tonight is some of the concepts and the principles and the methods of your scripts. And so whenever you answer a question and then you lead with a question. So I never answer a question and then not ask a question, because the person asking the questions is the person that is leading the conversation. They're driving the conversation. So if somebody calls you and says, I got your piece of mail and I am interested, I'm thinking about selling my home, how did you know? And, I would say, hi, yes, this is Wendy. I did send you the mail, and I've written to a couple of people in the area. Who am I speaking with? And then I write to make sure I have their correct name. And I say, please call me Wendy. And then I say, please confirm the address. Learn to be polite to the people, because a lot of people that are truly motivated sellers, they're going through a lot. Sometimes they're going through a divorce that's not really good. Sometimes they just lost a family member and now they're going through a probate situation. Sometimes somebody lost their job and they can't afford their mortgage, and now they're probably trying to get a short sale. They have stressful situations. And if you come off as very hard and I just want to know the bottom line, and if this is not, I'm not going to make 100,000 off this deal, I'm not interested. You will do some deals, but it will not be consistent. And so when you build relationships with people, people don't care what you know and how much of an expert you are until they know that you care about them. And that's the thing you want to make sure they get. So I always ask, I've written a few people in the area, please confirm your address. And I write it down. And then when they confirm the address, I say, well, what made you respond to my, to the letter I sent you, whether it's direct mail, a postcard, whatever you send. I like to do the yellow letter. I still love the yellow letter. So no matter what it is, but I also do direct mail. I also do, a text blast campaign. I do a lot of other things. Hey there, Aaron. A lot of other things. So you want to make sure that you're layering your marketing. Don't stick to one form. Don't just do one thing, especially if you want your business to be consistent. Get a budget of what you can do on a weekly basis, a monthly basis for your marketing, and then break that out. I was talking to one of my coaching students this week, and I said, what is your marketing budget? And they were like, oh no, I want to put a lot of money into my marketing. And I said, no, you don't. You want to be consistent, because as you're marketing and people are calling you, the other thing that's going to happen is you're going to see what scripts you still don't understand. You're going to grow with your business. So don't focus on I'm going to put $1 million out and I want to make $1.5 million, and because you still don't know what you don't know until you get the first deal. So the first thing I want you to do is think about your marketing campaign. There's a lot of free marketing I can tell you about, but you also want to have some direct mail, some yellow letters, some text blasts, some email blasts, and you layer your marketing. Start somewhere, get the phone ringing. And once the phone rings, then you have to learn how to respond. And you always want to be in control. I always say this, when I go to the doctor's office, I'm sure some people have gone to get a COVID shot or a COVID test. When you go, they ask you a lot of questions because they're in control. They want to find out what the real situation is before they determine what is the next thing you should do. So they don't just come out and say, you know what? We think you have COVID, so we're going to give you this. No, they ask you a lot of questions. And so you want to do the same. Don't get so excited somebody responded to your marketing that you forget about sticking to your worksheet. I'm a strong believer in worksheets. And if you need one, send me a message on the REIA Meetup and we'll show you the ones that are posted up already and which you should start with. I'm a strong believer in starting with this seller financing worksheet. And I've said this before. I love that particular script because it always asks, do you need all the money now or are you open to seller financing? You want to master that. Do you need the money now or are you open to seller financing? Master asking everybody that. I can't tell you how many deals I've gotten, and this has not changed. From the year I started in real estate to now, I still find deals because of asking that particular questions, where sellers don't need the money up front and we can work out creative financing. Or they do need the money up front and I show them that they don't need as much as they thought. So ask that question. But first you want to find out you're talking to the right person. You want to make sure you ask them, is there anybody else involved that I have to speak to pertaining to this property? Is there anybody else's name on the deed? Don't be afraid to ask that. Again, most of the people that come to me are people that are brand new in real estate or they've been in real estate and they really don't get it. So that's who seems to take my trainings, the Yellow Letter Mentoring Group Program. That's the group that takes that particular program. So 80% of the people I mentor are people that are, want to understand the very basics of real estate investing or becoming a real estate agent. So the basic questions is, who is on the deed? Who's on the deed? Who's in charge of this particular real estate property? Who makes the decisions? You don't want to, Justin, so you don't want to talk to people and you're talking to, say, the wife, and then you've done all this talking, and then they say, well, my husband is not home, and I got to wait till he gets home before we can make a decision. And then they go and tell the husband the wrong thing. And by the time you speak to the husband, he's looking at you like, I'm not interested in this because the wife told him the wrong things. So I always ask, are there any other parties I need to speak to when it comes to this particular property? And they tell me. And so sometimes I can hear the other parties because they'll say, I have you on speaker. My husband is here with me, or my children are here with me. And I say, great. Again, my name is Wendy. Who else is here that I'm speaking with? And they begin to tell me. And I say, can you tell me a little bit more about the house? Like, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms? You know, is there a basement? Is it detached? What's the square footage? What are the taxes on the property? What's the mortgage payment? When was the last time you paid the mortgage? Are you behind on the payment? If you are, what's the total you're behind? These are all the questions I ask, and you got to get to the point where it's easy for you to ask those questions. The doctor is never scared to ask you, where does it hurt? If you come into the hospital and you say, you know what, my stomach hurts, they're going to say, well, where does it hurt? How does it hurt? How long has it been hurting? Does it hurt if I poke you here? Because they're trying to figure out what's really the situation. And you asking the seller all these questions is going to see if they're truly motivated, or if they're just messing with you, or if they're thinking of selling at a later date. You want to qualify for a motivated seller, somebody who has to sell. They're in a situation where they cannot keep this property. That's a truly motivated seller. Not somebody who says, you know, I'm thinking of selling. You know, I heard the prices are going up, so I think maybe I want more money. That's not who you're looking for. When you want those people too, but they're not going to give you money in the next 30 days. They might give you money 3 months from now, 90 days from now, but they're not giving you money for the next 30 days. You're always looking for what can you close immediately. And you don't want to ignore the rest, but that's what true motivation is. Can we work out a deal now? Can we work out something where I'm in charge of the real estate and you get what you want out of it and we keep it moving? How can we do that now? So you always want to ask those questions. And once they tell you that, because they'll say things like, well, it's a 3-bedroom, but I added a 4th room, or, you know, I did the basement over, or no, the whole house needs work. I mean, it's really horrible. I had one lady that responded to some of my marketing, and when I called her, she actually called me, and I let her call me like 3 times before I responded. And when I did, I said the same things I said to you guys. And one of the things she said to me is, oh, this house is in horrible condition. I have a tenant, and, you know, he hasn't taken care of the place. And you know, so I let her tell me all the war stories. And I didn't really say anything about it at that moment. I put it in my back pocket, and I kept asking everything I needed to ask. And, you know, I asked, how long ago did you purchase the property? And why are you selling it now? And that's when she shared all the things about the tenant, and the house is in horrible condition. And that's, to me, was very important, because she sounded very frustrated. She had an issue, and I wanted to help her solve that issue. But I still stuck to every question. And then I asked her, you know, again, who else was involved? And she said the property was her mother's, and the mother is still alive, but she was in control because her mother's in a home now. And I said, okay, I'm still taking all the information. And when it was over, I said, when can I see the property? Like, when can I see the property? And she told me when she could get in. I said, okay, when you're there, could you do a FaceTime with me? Can you, you know, I don't like to tell people take a video and send it to me. I like to tell people, do a video, do a FaceTime with me. And this way I can say, can you, you know, walk through the house this way, pay attention to that area of the home. do a look at the ceiling for me. I ask them to look at all the things that I need to know. And another thing I like to do is make sure that they send me all the pictures, because sometimes when you're investing, you can only get in the house one time. The tenants aren't cooperative, or, you know, the owner may not be able to get back in, but you want to market it to other people. The pictures will help you do that. And so I asked her to do a video, a FaceTime, and I was able to see the house. And so you, again, have to build your business that way, or whatever way works for you. There's a time coming, the way the market is, the direction of real estate, where you're not going to get into every home you sell. You're not going to have to go there to see it yourself. You can do everything online. I've sold properties that I've never seen. I've never had to go meet the seller in person. We did everything online. Do you suggest getting scripts or practicing for, I believe you want to get the scripts and then practice the scripts. But the thing is, Aaron, practicing, it's like, if you're into sports, my favorite ball player to this day is still Michael Jordan, and he never practiced on the court. When you have the scripts and you're reading them, you're practicing your dribble or your shot off the court. But when you're in front of the customer, when you're in front of the motivated seller, now that's a different level of practice. So you want to study your scripts and say them verbatim to yourself. You even want to print them out. If you have a CRM and you're very computer literate, or you do everything on your computer or your laptop, then put the information there, because there's a time coming, if you're constantly marketing, there's going to be times where 30, 40 people call you back and you won't remember everybody. So you want to write it down so you can help them accordingly. And so one of the things I like to do is read everything verbatim, and I make little notes for myself, even on my cell phone, my business cell phone. If I put the person's phone number there, I give myself little hints about stuff that we have spoken right near their phone number. So when they call me, I can go right to, oh, okay, that's Mary from such and such street, and this is her problem. That's John from such and such street, this state, or this area, or this part of town. I give myself those hints right on their phone number, because again, my phone does ring a lot with people. And so I want to be able to not say, oh, I got to find their information. I can respond to them and then get any other information later. So I'm always collecting information at the beginning, and that's the mindset you want to have. You're not looking to, because, you know, when people are new, they feel like if I don't give this person an answer right away, they're going to know I'm new and they're going to choose somebody else. Top producers, which is what you are. If you keep saying I'm a top producer in real estate, you will be a top producer. So you want to constantly tell yourself that. And once you say I'm a top producer, you will not just give information haphazardly. You will collect information, analyze the situation. So you're collecting information to see, is the seller really motivated? And then you're also collecting information to see, is this property really discounted? Is it a discounted property? Is this a property that they're asking too much for? And are they really motivated? And so now once you get all of that, then you got to go and analyze the property for yourself. There's so many apps where you can just, home snap, just snap the property and it'll give you all the information. Put in the address. Some people like Zillow. Some people like to look at, Redfin. There's so many ways to see what the property is worth. And if you're a real estate agent and you have not taken advantage of Remime, REMIME, you're buying all these other apps, you're really wasting your money. Because if you're a licensed agent, you have access to all the information that, Solid, all these other apps. that people are telling you to invest $30 a month, $50 a month. And I can tell you at least 10 apps people tell me about all the time. And I say, but you have Remon, go there, pay an extra couple of dollars. It will even give you the person's phone number and their email address. And you can speak to them directly. Now, if you're not a real estate agent, there's a few other apps that you can use and get all that information yourself. And if you don't want to do that yourself, there's so many places like Fiverr, Upwork, where you can hire very affordable skip tracers to go find that information for you. Some get paid as little as $10 an hour to as high as $200 an hour, and they don't get paid till they find the information for you. You can hire them to work 3 hours a week, 2 hours a day, but there's so many ways to find this information. And that's why I say the hardest thing that you will have to master in real estate is learning how to talk to people, to pull information out of them, and to get them to choose to work with you. Everything else is very, very simple to learn, but mastering scripts and understanding people. I think Michael Coloni is still on here, and he will say Fiverr and also Upwork. There's so many others, Justin, but those are the two. I've used Upwork for at least 16 years. I have some people that have been working with me for well over, for the 16 years that I've been there, and I have a few of, they're called virtual assistants. But again, I want you to focus on your scripts right now, your scripts. And, you know, I knew for me, scripts changed everything for me. When I got into real estate, I lost a few deals because once they asked me certain questions, which are called objections, I was lost. When I was a licensed agent, I'm a broker now, but when I was an agent and people say, well, why should I choose you? Just because you're with, you know, ERA or Century 21 or oh man, thank you. Or, you know, all these other platforms, there's so many right now, Keller Williams and so on and so on. God bless you. So there's so many platforms of real estate. Everybody now is EXP. There's so many platforms that, and I train a lot of EXP people. It's just amazing to me because again, you have to master these basics that I'm telling you about. Brand yourself, get a marketing budget, start marketing, make sure that you master your scripts, and you discipline yourself to do the work. If people tell you that they can make you a millionaire and, you know, this is an easy platform, you're just helping them become a millionaire because you're buying their programs. You still got to do the work. No matter how great the program is, if you don't do the work, it's not going to happen. So I'm not going to lie to you and say it's easy. It becomes easier once you master it. So again, you want to ask the basic questions. Always understand you're collecting information to see if this person is a good fit for the kind of deal you're looking for. Don't just take any deals. I have people in the REIA meetup that will message me and say, I have this deal. And I ask them, I said, well, what made you take that? The numbers don't make sense. Oh, the seller's motivated. And I'm like, but if they were motivated, they'd price it correctly. Oh, no, they're motivated. I'm like, okay, what makes you say they're motivated? Because they have tenants there, and the tenants are not letting anybody in. The tenants aren't paying the rent. And I'm saying, you just wasted your time and money. And a lot of people make those mistakes. And then a month later, they say, I'm no longer in real estate, or I haven't closed a deal yet. But no matter the reason you haven't closed is you're doing something your way instead of the right way. And so the right way is if a person's motivated and a person wants to work with you and you learn to educate them. That's what we do as real estate agents, real estate investors. We have to educate them. We have to say, this is what the market is saying. You never say, I will give you $100 for your house. It's not worth anything. But just do not. Okay, very good, very good. You have to dedicate. And here's the thing, guys. You don't need a lot of time to do your real estate. You really don't. The main thing to understand is once you do this and you master qualifying and finding a deal, and then you build your team. I've written a few ebooks about different stuff. You can find them on Amazon ebooks, but you have to learn how to build your team because your team's going to do more work for you. Once I find the deal, one of the things, again, I love Michael Jordan, and he tells you, people always give him the credit for being one of the greatest ball players, but if it wasn't for Rodman helping him with the rebounds, he would have never gotten as many shots. Your team is going to help you close more deals. And if you don't have the right team, you're going to lose deals, but you can't get the right team if you don't get the right deal. So you have to master collecting information, qualifying the deal, qualifying the seller. Don't just take any deal. And sure enough, the young lady I mentioned before, she never sold the property because it didn't make sense. She couldn't get people in. The seller was asking too much. The tenants left the place a hot mess. Now, a deal like that should have been discounted and they would have definitely sold the property. So that person wasn't truly motivated. A motivated person has to sell. They have to sell. And you're better off keep talking to people till you find somebody that has to sell than to take on a deal just because you could get it and the person does not have to sell. You're working harder and you will not have a closing from that deal. Okay, so master qualifying the seller for their motivation. What is motivating them? You know, death is a motivation, divorce is a motivation, foreclosure is a motivation, being relocated is a motivation, being a tired landlord is a motivation. You know, those are motivating factors. And once you have those motivated factors, and then you ask the questions and you build rapport. You build rapport. One of the greatest ways to build rapport is to speak to people in their language. And so I do a teaching where you have to understand the personality types. I'm very visual. So you have to speak to me in visual ways. Most top producers and leaders are very visual. But then there's people that are top producers that are very auditory. They have to make sense before they make a decision. And sometimes they take longer to make a decision with you. But once they decide to work with you, it's going to be very hard for somebody else to take them off course with you, because once you get them to be, you know, committed to working with you, their commitment is really solid until the closing. And then you have some emotional people. The 1 minute they everything is fine. The next minute they're very hectic. And the next minute they feel good. Another minute they're very upset. There's people that have PSTD. There's so many influencing factors that people who only think everything is very mechanical, everything is very digital. I've spent a lot of money being coached by Mike Ferry, and one of the things he taught us early on my coaching with him, and he's taught this to his son Tom Ferry, people are always going to want people involved in their transaction. So, but you still can make it automated. You still can scale your business where you're not there doing everything, but learn how to qualify your buyer, your sellers rather, and ask them questions like, do you really have to sell now? If you don't sell, what would you do? And if they say, oh, I'll just keep the property, or it doesn't matter if I don't sell, they're not really that motivated. But if they say, no, I have to sell. I can't, I got to leave out of town within 30 days. I have to sell, or I cannot keep this property. A family member died in this home. I can't stay here. they're motivated. And so now you also want to see, what is the property worth? Don't lie to people and say it's worth 200,000 when it's only worth 150, because you're hurting yourself and that person. Your goal is to educate them, and you can't educate them until you become a student of that, of finding that information, so you can then go back and say to them, well, according to the market. I never say this is what I would pay you. I say the market right now says that your home, we can get this for it. So now if anything doesn't sound right, it's not me they're mad at. They're mad at the market. It's the market that has done this. So you never want to say, I'll only give you 150, or, some people say it, but for me, that doesn't work. So I always say stuff like the market says, or they'll say, well, I want 100,000. And I'll ask them, well, what made you come up with that number? And I'm listening to see, did they do any work? Why do they think they can get this? And I've had some people that I would have offered them 150, and they say, I just want 100,000. I still ask, how did you come up with that number? And then sometimes I want to offer them 80,000 and they say 100. I still say, how did you come up with that number? And I don't battle them about how they came up with that number. I just write down, okay, this is the information they said. So in the beginning, you're collecting information. You then go analyze the property. What is homes like they're selling for in the area? And then you look at the investors that will buy in that area. The easiest way, when you have a deal in any zip code, you can go and Google cash buyers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zip code, and you'll see the cash buyers, because they usually have stuff like we buy houses cash. And you want to call them. Don't waste your time, just waiting, but call them and say, hi, my name is Wendy, and I noticed that you're a cash buyer in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zip code. And I noticed that you've been buying a few properties in those areas. And I just wanted to introduce myself. Again, my name is Wendy. What yours is? And they'll tell you. And I say, well, I was just calling to see, are you interested, or are you looking for any more properties? And if you do, what kind of properties would you buy, say, within the next 2 weeks, 30 days? That's what I ask. What properties would you buy within the next couple of weeks or 30 days? And some people will say, no, I don't want to buy a house now. I'm looking for something in 90 days. Okay, great. What kind of properties would you be looking for? Because I run across a lot of discounted properties. And when I do, I want to make sure I send you the ones that are in your criteria, the things that you prefer to buy. What would that be? And I always will end with a question, because you're in control. So now I write down what they say. And then I say, by the way, even if the home that I have doesn't fit what they're asking for, by the way, I just got this amazing deal on 123 Main Street. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It needs a lot of work, but I know the properties in that area, you can make at least 50, 100,000 profit, depending on the kind of work you do in it. You want to give them some kind of numbers. Is that something you'd be interested in? And then you don't want to make it hard for people to get in the property. Don't take deals where people, Tracy, how are you? Don't take deals where people are, love you, lady. So don't take deals where people are making it hard for you to promote the deal. You're wasting your time, especially if you're a licensed agent, especially if you got into real estate investing so that you could take care of your family. You don't want to waste your money taking properties from people that don't even want to let you in to market or promote or to sell. So I always ask my sellers, can I get a key? Can I get a key? Can we do a lockbox? And that's one of the main questions I ask, because I want to get in when my investors need to get in. I don't want to chase the seller down. I don't want to wait till the tenant can let me in. Can we put a lockbox? I will make sure that I update the person, if there's somebody in the house, I let them know that I will be coming 24 hours. And if I have to give them short notice, what's the best you can do? And they'll tell me, oh, well, if you have to do it, at least give them a couple of hours. Learn to ask questions for the answers you want. So you're building your business. And I just want you to master the concept. And then there's another thing called objections. Objections are stuff like when people say, oh, real estate investing, that's a scam. You guys always want to, get the houses for so cheap, and you want to make sure you make all the money. I never battle them. I say, you know what, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, if they give me permission to call them by their first name, you know what, Mary, I get how you feel. And if I had a property that's in the condition of your property and people were calling me all day about it, I might feel the same. But here's the thing. I promise you, I am not here to do that. My focus is to make a deal that's a win-win for both of us. What can we do to make you feel comfortable working with me to make sure that we close on this and get you the terms and the monies that you're looking for? So that's different than, oh yes, but fighting, arguing. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that when they tell you something, you empathize with them, you put yourself on the same side with them, and then you handle it. You're educating them. If you were having a heart attack, and you were telling the doctor, oh my God, I can't breathe. And he goes, well, it doesn't matter that you can't breathe. He empathizes with you. Okay, calm down. I know you can't breathe, but here's what we're going to do for you. And that's how you want to handle objections. Learn to repeat the objections, let them know you get why they're saying what they're saying, and then educate them. Real estate investors, real estate agents, we educate people. And one of the things I like to do, I share a lot of content, real estate investing. I've been in real estate 30 years, and I've always mastered scripts. Even when I went to multi-level marketing, one of the things that made me a top producer there was mastering scripts. So those are the things I wanted to share with you tonight. I hope they've been helpful. And if you want a copy of any of my scripts, go over to the REIA Meetup, THEREIA MEETUP. And you can message me there right in the group, and I'll make sure that I get you a copy. We upload a lot of these in my REIA Meetup. And if you join any of my mailing list, I'll be happy to help you there. I blog on real estate. I do a lot of teaching on real estate, and you can watch a lot more of my videos on Wendy Lovejoy, Real Estate Investor on YouTube. If you subscribe to that channel, we put a new video every single week. Because of my schedule, and I'm speaking on a lot more platforms, we used to do this every Tuesday night, but now we don't because I'm speaking at a lot more platforms. But we put up a video every single week on Wendy Lovejoy, Real Estate Investor. You can go over there, and there's some trainings that I only do in the REIA Meetup, and then there's some trainings that you'll only get if you go over to Teachable, which is where our real estate investor, oh, thank you. Thank you, Justin. If you go over to the Teachable platform, our Real Estate Investing Academy, you could see some of the programs there. And as I mentioned to you before, I have a lot of affordable ebooks that will help you. One is just on scripts. I have another one that's just a book of 150 scripts. And then I have more on understanding personality types. And then I have more on building your team. Those are the main areas you want to master, and they're going to help you. The REIA Meetup, just go on Facebook and put in the REIA. The REIA Meetup is on Meetup. go to Meetup, and there's a REIA meetup for New York, and there's a REIA meetup for Georgia. Okay, but then I have the REIA, REIA, that is on Facebook. So those are the 3 different platforms. But as I said, I have a lot more content about scripts on the Wendy Lovejoy Real Estate Investor YouTube channel. Things like how to do your 30-second commercial, how to talk to motivated sellers, to talk to, you know, tired landlords, and on and on and on. And then, of course, we have different programs that start anywhere from $97 to a couple of thousand a year. And I hope that this was very helpful to you. And I hope you master your scripts and just stick in there. Keep doing your real estate. I make myself available. You can text me, and I'll be happy to share information with you, and, you know, and help you succeed in whatever you're trying to do. That's real estate. With that being said, thanks guys for hanging out with me this Tuesday night. I'm going to let you go now. Bye. Talk to you soon.